Alrighty. So guys, everyone, welcome. Welcome. Happy Thursday, everyone. Happy Thursday. Welcome, Lachlan. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you again for doing this live trading room with us. For everyone who's
Absolute pleasure.
watching us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, guys, if you want to be part of the chat, part of the interactions with Lachlan, make sure to sign up for next week's live trading session. You can sign up through our website. We'll make sure to drop the link below during the webinar. It's really, really interesting. You guys should join. Make sure you follow the instructions. Listen to Lachlan. He knows what he's saying. I'm assuming there's going to be a very interesting session today, Lachlan. Due to the fact
Straight after the election, yes.
exactly, guys. Apparently, Trump 2024. It happened. It happened, and the market is going to be very, very volatile. Very, very interesting. So have fun on today's session. Enjoy, take some notes, and I will come check in with you guys later. But for now, I'm
Perfect.
to you, Lucky.
Thank you. Brilliant. So, hi guys and girls. Hope you're brilliant. I'm going to grab the. Let me grab the screen for you very quickly. I'm going to throw some slides up for us to get started. That is our normal protocol. That's working quite well. That is our normal protocol for a Thursday. All right, so I hope everybody's well. Let me just untie the chat. All right, so everybody can chat to everybody, and we should be, guys and girls, we should be in a good little place. So James, how are you? Hope you're fantastic. Guys, hope everybody's well. Look good. Everyone is flying through, so that's absolutely brilliant. Now, guys, it is the day after. It is the day after the election. What does that ultimately mean? As the volumes are dropping out of the market, certainly they're not back to normal. They're not back to normal, but they are dropping out of the markets, which is great. So everything is kind of returning to normal. For those of you that were in the live trading room yesterday, it was crazy busy. Today, it's obviously a lot less than that. So therefore, guys, we're actually going to have a really technical day. We're going to have a really technical day. The reason being is we've got no sort of key news events occurring. There is some very big news. We'll run through it a bit later on. There's some very, very big news later on tonight. Later on tonight for the US-based traders, and tomorrow morning is even bigger news. Now, off the back of the presidential election results and the market, guys, the market has skyrocketed to all-time highs, just absolutely flying. We look like, guys, at this point in time, we look like we're peeling off those all-time highs. We look like we are. S&P all-time highs, NASDAQ not quite yet at the all-time highs. So the fundamentals are looking really, really, really good. Again, this could be just a post-election bounce before we get back to reality again, which I think will be good fun. So as what we'll do, we'll get into it. We're obviously live, and it goes as we start this every time. I say thank you very much to the Trading Pit guys for supporting us in this journey, guys. We are growing quickly. It's really, really exciting to guys help you sort of navigate the world, guys, of professional trading as opposed to any other form of trading. We don't do punting. We are 100% professional traders. Now, guys, I will apologize if I can from the start of the webinar, only because I do clearly have a jumper on. Underneath that, I do have a thermal on. The reason being, guys, right now, as we are up in the mountains, it's 14 degrees. Apparently, the wind chill's taken it down to 6 degrees. So we have a very, very cold wind is coming off the mountains behind us, and we've also got snow on those mountains already. So suffice to say, I am going to be wearing a jumper today. The reason being is I love to talk to you with the windows slightly open. As the moment I shut the office up, it gets very, very warm very quickly. So either way, my name is Lockie. I'm in the mountains. I am south of Osaka in Japan. I've been trading for a long time, guys. I did spend 15 years in the regular army. 5 years before that, guys, I was training in the military cadets. So I spent around 20 or so years, guys, running around with rifles. Probably the highlight of my career was going overseas multiple times, guys, and serving. Suffice to say, I came home from that. I've decided to be a full-time day trader. I joined a day trading school. I discovered futures trading on the 1st of August 2007, then very quickly realized what I was taught was just not working. So I went and wrote my own strategy, own indicators, and it's ultimately gone from there. So that is me, guys and girls. That is me. Now I'm the chief Guys, the Chief Training Officer or Lead Educator, guys, Lead Educator at Samurai. I was very excited to have that role. As next year, I will be obviously leading the prop trading teams as well, which is going to be good fun. So that being said, guys, we're ultimately going to, let me just show you the layout of the charts very, very quickly and a little bit of a summary, guys, as to what we're doing. Guys, let me just have a look here. Guys and girls, I'm going to have to pause you right there. I know we are 100% live. I'm going to have to pause you because I actually need to show you some customer caution notices, which are really, really, really important. And at this point in time, this slide deck has not got those CCNs built into it. So I'm going to immediately switch. Let me do that for you now. I am going to switch PowerPoints and I'm going to take you directly to those customer caution notices because they are really, really important. Right, so let me do that. In a perfect world, we're going to change slightly. So as if you don't mind the little technology changes quickly. Right, here we go. So I've got to run through this before we go through the chart layout. So that's it, ladies and gents. Compliance-wise, because we are projecting guys across multiple territories today. Last time we did this, guys, we had traders in the session from 12 countries. Guys, now some of the strictest countries regarding compliance are actually Australia and Singapore. Guys, Singapore and the UK. So let me run through these really, really quickly for you. Firstly, we're going to be trading futures, guys, and ultimately some of you will be trading CFDs. What we've got to understand, guys, trading futures, trading anything in the market, there are two risks whenever we trade. There's a risk of making money and there's also a risk of losing money. Now, interesting thing, exactly, Nathan. That's why it's changed. Absolutely brilliant. Now, guys, that being said, also because we're going to be trading on margin, which means we borrow a little bit of money every time we take a trade. Okay, so we do borrow a little bit of money. That means we can actually make a lot of money quite quickly. We can also lose it quite quickly. So it means we do have to be very, very responsible, guys, with what we're doing. We have to be very, very deliberate with the trades that we're taking, guys, and we're also very, very much focused on being professional. So I'm not from New Zealand. Professional risk controllers. Now, that being said, guys, all the information in the presentation today is general information only. The past performance of any kind of financial product now, we're not allowed to use as a indication of future performance. I also have to talk about market risk factors because today we will actually be trading, guys. We will actually be trading over the internet. What does that mean? I'm going to be giving you entry prices for your trades. So I'll be saying, listen, I want you to try and enter here. I want you to try and enter there. Now, guys, all of those signals or all those patterns or strategies I'll be calling, guys, they are 100% as per the educational strategies that we use. So, guys, now you can take those trades, guys and girls, if you choose. In saying that, we're never ever going to give you a private or personal investment advice on, hey, look, Nathan, I think this trade is good for you, X, Y, Z. Guys, now the reason being is we're actually not licensed financial planners. We are professional traders, and ultimately we're going to be executing the majority of the trades in the background anyway. So if it's good enough for us, it's good enough for you. As that being said, there will be some potential inaccuracies due to internet, due to market discrepancy. So if I try and get in on a certain trade at a certain price, guys, I'll do my best to give you the price as quickly as I can. Just be aware, guys, you might get in at a slightly different price to us, which is ultimately going to affect the performance of what you're doing. Now, we've been here already, guys and girls. We don't need to go here again. Now, the actual layout, guys, the actual layout of the slides when we actually get into the live trading room, guys, you have the NASDAQ in the top left-hand corner, S&P in the bottom left. You have the FDAX on the right and the FESX. Now, ultimately, the most popular trading charts are the two on the top. The best reference charts are the two on the bottom. In saying that, we do have quite a few traders that also trade the S&P 500. Now, we are going to follow with the mantra. I was going to let the market do the heavy lifting. Now, what this ultimately means, because futures trading is a two-team game, so let me just highlight this point. It's a two-team game, buyers versus sellers, and the stronger team has to win. Guys, what we're going to be using is we're going to be using all of those points on the left-hand side of the slide as in order to identify the team that is failing. Therefore, we're simply going to go and join the other team. So the foundation for futures trading is literally identify the team that is failing and simply go and join the other team. Right? That's what we're going to be doing today. Now, the flip side of that, ladies and gents, futures trading is a two-team game. As I said, buyers versus sellers, the stronger team has to win. In comparison, Forex trading is a 3-team game, right? So you've got the buyers versus the sellers versus the broker, and the broker controls the market you're trading. So if you are coming to us, guys, from a Forex trading background or something along those lines, just be aware that I can give you the exact entry price and the exact entry price and exit price and similar things for the trades we're going to be doing today, because none of the futures traders will be trading through a broker, guys, of any form. We actually trade directly to a clearinghouse. It does mean that our trades are significantly more accurate. So something to take into account as we roll through. Now, guys, further on that, guys, effectively the priority list for today, what to expect. Now, some of the traders that we're going to be working with today have literally been with me since 2009. So those traders are in here. They're not here to learn, guys. They're here to make as much money as they possibly can and leave. So what does it ultimately mean? The intent behind the live trading room is profit first and education second. So what that ultimately means is I will be focusing on what the markets are doing and why they're doing it, probably for the first 35 to 40 minutes. And that last sort of 10 to 15 minutes of the hour is a really, really good opportunity to get questions answered if you would like to get those questions answered. Now, further, guys, we are going to target a 90% strike rate today. So none of the signals that I talk about today, guys, run at less than a 90% strike rate. A little reminder, if I do say to you, I want you to enter outside the range of the candle. Now, that is the total candle, including the wick at the top and the tail down the bottom, as we don't enter trades on the bodies of candles. Okay, that will, if you enter on the body of the candle, that'll drop you down to about an 83% success rate, which for some people, guys, is simply not high enough to sustain the psychology to be really, really good at trading. Now, guys, I do put a video every day out on YouTube. So our YouTube channel is very easy to find. It's just Samurai Day Trading. I put a short out there, guys, every day. Basically, here's the best trader today, and here are the lessons that we are learning. So again, if you do want to go and have a look at that, ladies and gents, I invite you to do that. Please comment, like, and do all of the stuff that you love doing on YouTube. Some of you are very, very good. So a thank you to those people that are religious in their in writing their comments on there and saying thank you and similar things. It's absolutely brilliant. Now that channel, guys, that YouTube channel, as it develops, there's a ton of free information on there. As in fact, exciting point, now that TTP, guys, the trading pit has got Ninja Trader, guys, bopping along. If you haven't got any experience with Ninja Trader at all, guys, there's 22 videos on that YouTube channel that explain to you how to use Ninja Trader, like how to connect your data, how to put up a chart, how to put on an indicator, all of that kind of stuff. And we will build, guys, that library as required. Now, guys, personal considerations as we roll into the session. The trade that is best for you is the one that you recognize. Okay, so for some of you, you might have been in 4 or 5 sessions already. So you'll start to get the vibe of what we do. As that being said, if you're brand new to trading, please just watch and listen and learn. Guys, you can join us every Thursday for the rest of the year. TTP have been very, very generous, guys, in offering us this opportunity to educate you. So there's a great little opportunity to just watch. Guys, if you do know what you're doing or you're an experienced trader, please do take every trade or every trade that you agree with. If you don't like what I'm doing, don't take the trade. So don't, as we say, don't let me romance you into taking a trade you wouldn't otherwise take. Guys, we are going to look to maximize the profit, guys, on every single trade. We're also going to control our risk quickly. We call this a risk control point. Guys, the focus for us is not about a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio. Guys, it's about getting a sort of a 1-to-20, 1-to-30, 1-to-40 risk to reward ratio, which we do almost every day. Guys, yesterday in the markets, clearly we were very volatile. Guys, the lead-in volume, guys, just to give you an idea right now, the lead-in volume to the session is 64,000. So 64,000 contracts. Yesterday it was 360,000. So why is that? Obviously, anticipation of the decision that was made on the election yesterday. Petros, how are you? And young Murray, how are you? I hope you're fantastic. Now, guys and girls, a really, really key point. I'm going to do my best to guide you in and out of the market as best as I can. If I have got a trade which requires too much risk, guys, if a candle is out of context with the rest of the market, I'll tell you that's out of context. What does that ultimately mean? Guys, the candle is significantly bigger than the volatility of the market. Therefore, it's normally a bull trap or a bear trap. If you haven't heard that expression, guys, a bull trap is when they try to trap the people running up before they turn around and short the market going back the other way. The flip side being is obviously a bear trap is exactly the opposite of that. So we will jump into this and we'll do a very, very good job of it. Now, Guys, as I get ready to do this, Ibrahim, great question. I'm about to get in there. Now, guys, I'm going to get rid of that slide pack. All right, so let me get rid of that slide pack. I'm also going to get rid of the background slide pack as well. And we should end up with a bunch of charts in a perfect world. All right, so here we go. Now, that's a great question. Ibrahim, have I got that name? Have I got that name correct? If you can just confirm that for me, I would hate to use the wrong name. Now, guys, what we've got here, guys, we've got perfect, Ibrahim, that's brilliant. Terence, how are you? Hope you're fantastic. So, guys, what we've got, as I briefed in the introduction, we've got the S&P 500 down in the bottom left-hand corner. I've got the NASDAQ in the top left. We've got the FDAX, guys, on the top right, and we've got the FESX in the bottom right-hand corner. Now, Ibrahim, what are we using? So we are using pure price movement. So what you're looking at is 5-minute charts, guys. We are using a 5-minute chart strategy, guys, combined with a 15-minute chart, a 60-minute chart, and a 4-hour chart. Now the bigger charts are on other screens, guys, in the background. What you're ultimately focused on at this point in time, guys, is we're going to be looking at the 5-minute chart pure price movement. There are a number of indicators running along here, guys and girls, to tell us what to do. Ultimately, we're going to be focused very, very heavily on the pure price movement in the market. Right? And what we're doing is we're actually, Damsey, how are you? We're using, for some of the signals, we're going to be using a negative histogram divergence model, right? which again, with 13 minutes to go, we won't be going into that in significant detail. Suffice to say, mate, we're pure price movement traders enhanced by indicators. That's what ultimately we are going to be doing. Now, guys, I'm going to unmute some microphones. Ahmed is not with us today, guys. He is busy on a family journey. As a result, he won't be with us today. He's one of my backup traders, but I've got a number of backup traders today, guys. So I should be pretty safe. Now, that being said, guys, I want to highlight. So all of these yellow points we'll run through now as we debrief as we head into the session. So the first things first. Guys, both the US markets are pushing all-time highs. Now, I say that the NASDAQ is threatening an all-time high. We're actually looking at now, guys, just double check for you. We are a fraction off the highest daily close the NASDAQ has ever had. Guys, the S&P 500 is well beyond its all-time high as a result of the election that was going on in the US yesterday. Now, what I want you to watch for, guys and girls, on the US-based charts, I want you to watch for a lower low on the 60-minute chart that ultimately creates a swing trigger to the high side. Right now, that's a slightly complex thing to say, but what we're looking for is at this point in time is we're looking for long-range longs, those long-range longs on all of the markets simultaneously. Perfect. I went through the same process, DT, myself, so more than happy to help you out, mate. It'll just have to be after the LTR. Now, for the Nazi traders, guys, what I want to highlight, guys, if the sellers dip quickly, guys, on European Open, I want you to watch for reversals long. Okay, so watch for the reversals long. The one that I would be focused on now, I'm going to get rid of that Fibonacci extension. Guys, let me get rid of that Fibonacci extension on NASDAQ. That little static bar reversal, is absolutely brilliant. Okay, that one there. I would prefer for us to pick up this one down here. Okay, so you can see, guys, the correlation between the 90% Fibonacci, also a little bit lower down here, guys, a little bit lower down here on the NASDAQ. We've got the previous 240-minute or 4-hour close. So these guys have sold down and basically bounced off the previous 4-hour level, guys, and started to move up to the high side. So we will, guys, when the European market opens in around about 10 minutes from now, we'll guide you through how to do this. At this stage, guys, we're looking for reversals long, guys, as in we're looking to push the market up on both American markets. And naturally, guys, as we always do, we're going to have to sell down below our buy levels, on the opening candle to get a rock and roll. So hi, everybody. You guys have got lots of people logging in. So hello. Hope you're brilliant. Guys, I will keep you informed with the numbers, because last week we went well over 100, in this Zoom. So therefore, guys, I'll just keep you posted on the numbers, because I don't think at your end, I don't think you can actually see the numbers, but the numbers are literally just tick, 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 just growing quickly. Louis, I'm going to grab your microphone. So Louis is an Australian-based trader. Guys, he's very, very, very good at the NASDAQ. Quite often he'll see something, guys. If I miss it, he'll jump on it, which is absolutely brilliant. Now, for the European-based traders, guys, a couple of things we do need to be aware of, like straight off the bat. First things first, guys, we've got German news has already gone through, and the German news was not very positive. Now, mind you, Europe's got some very, very big problems, guys, that started yesterday. Can anybody kind of feed into me? What do you think the biggest problem in Europe is right now? It'd be interesting to see what you... it's getting very close, right? It's getting very close. It's getting very, very close. Craig, I can't say that on the microphone. This is going all across the world. So, guys, that being said, I'm going to find out what your answer is. I'll find out what your answer is. Now, for those that are asking questions about the jumper, guys, it is 6 degrees where I am at the moment, up in the mountains, and we've got snow on the mountain behind us. So winter is definitely on the way. Now, that's it, guys. Our S&P volume leading in, we've got a 65,000 volume. Yesterday, it was 365,000. So that'll give you an idea of how volatile it was yesterday. Guys, what it means today, the volatility is a lot less. For those people that are not used to what we do, if you're brand new, guys, there's a little indicator here on the top left-hand corner of each of these charts, which tells us how volatile the market is. And that's how we estimate our risk, and we also estimate our targets. All right, now, if you want a very, very high probability target, right, if you want a very high probability target, as you'd be looking at the top number. So when you take your trade, you'd be looking at the top number saying, right, volatility is currently at a rate of 30. I'm going to halve that. So you're going for what we call a half PVI target. All right, so we'll talk about that as we get into the session. Guys, the volatility will lift significantly on European Open. So therefore, just be prepared for that. Perfect. It's a beautiful day. So, guys, if the Europeans decide they're going to run up on open, if they run up on open, we do have a sell point on the FDAX to the high side. Now, the FDAX is famous, guys, for chasing the 4-hour 50%. For those of you that are not aware, the 4-hour 50%, guys, is the green one, and that's all the way up the top of the jar. Now, if the Europeans decide to buy, guys, they could actually go a long way to the high side. There is a caveat on that, and I'm going to give you that caveat. I'll give you that caveat in a second. Now, if the Europeans do sell down, guys, there is a buying opportunity down here. We'd have to make sure we've got a Fibonacci extension that agrees with that, guys, before we take that long. And we'd also need to make sure that the FESX, which is down the bottom right-hand corner, I should say, we have to make sure that also agrees. Now, what we've got, guys, it's an interesting little phenomenon about the European Open. I just want to draw your attention to the fact that the European gaps have already been closed. Now, normally that means we're in for a really, really big move, right? We're in for like a big move in the markets, and that big move can actually happen quite quickly. Now, as we get ready for the session, guys, I do have my eye on this little candle just here as a potential static bar reversal short. Now, the reason being, now we need to obviously buy back into that area. The reason being, it looks like the Germans are selling off that 76.4 Fibonacci there. That's a blue one, so that's off the daily chart. All right, very, very powerful level. Now, going into the larger charts, as I said, there is going to be a little bit of a caveat. So as we move towards the larger charts, just be aware if you're trading a little bit later on tonight, guys, there is US FOMC. That's the interest rate announcement at 4 a.m. tomorrow morning. As if that is even the slightest bit positive, the NASDAQ is going to crash through record highs, and the S&P will keep going, and everything else that's running, like the cryptocurrency, will also keep on running. If that announcement is negative, guys, we're going to find a lot of the all-time highs that were blown yesterday will be back under the all-time highs, and will be falling quite quickly. Okay, now, to the larger charts, guys, what I need to draw your attention to at the moment, this is the FESX. So it's a really good reference chart for everything we do in this trading session. At the moment, the sellers have, again, they bought the market quite happily yesterday. We did talk about this yesterday. They've now turned around and come back all the way down here. So I note that the S&P, guys, the US markets are pushing record highs. Europe is not interested in that at all. I said literally just not interested at all. The flip side of that, I need to draw your attention, guys, on the daily chart, that they've basically sold back down into some very, very powerful reversals long. Some really powerful reversals long. So if we do get an initial sell down, if we get an initial push down on the FDAX and that push down fails quickly, as once again, like on the American markets, you're looking for long range buying signals, guys. So tight risk control, long range targets. For the FDAX, we're basically looking for the same thing. Now we are prepared on the FDAX, as they may decide to run to the high side. If they do, we've just got to watch that blue. These two blue Fibonacci's to the high side. So I'll draw arrows on both of them. If we do buy up, and we don't get beyond them, we're actually going to turn around and go back the other way pretty aggressively. Now, down to the 4-hour chart, guys, something you get to me super excited about. Okay, so there's my little wow on the chart. Okay, let me blow this away. We've got an absolutely stunning 4-hour static bar reversal here. Right, so again, that's an algorithm that for those of you that know a little bit more about what I do, that's a stunning trade. So what it does mean, guys, is if we sell down and open, even if the sell down is quite quick, as we sell down and open and flash, we're going to go for long range targets to the high side. The buyers on Europe, guys, in alignment with everything we've already said, should try and buy, okay, for up to 12 hours. So we're looking at a long range run. It's not going to be a fast run. Yesterday was very fast. Today's going to be a little bit slower. But the lower low, guys, the lower low here on the 4-hour chart has got me very interested about that long. Okay, very interested. So we'll mark 4829. Okay, so 4829 is the point at which the FESX 4829 is actually going to get a very serious wriggle on to the high side. Now, again, that static bar reversal, guys, see this little indicator here saying SBR. That's an absolutely stunning static bar reversal. So again, for the experienced FDAX traders, if we do sell down on open and we struggle to sell down quickly, guys, we are probably setting up some pretty awesome longs, guys, pretty awesome longs to the high side. Now, there will be a Fibonacci running through here on the FDAX, guys. It runs from there through to there. Okay, and we'll be hunting, guys. We'll be hunting these two little, the little red ones there are called the evil twins. All right, for those that are not used to what we do. I'm going to plug that, guys. I'm going to plug that sign right up the top. We may not need that if the market skyrockets. That will come as a reference point a little bit later on. Because we've done our 4-hour charts. We know what these guys are up to. One of two things will occur, guys, on the European markets. If they fall down, they're going to trigger a 4-hour swing trigger short. Okay, so that means they're going to sell for 12 hours. If they fail to do that, they're going to turn around and come back the other way. I'd suggest they're probably going to go up more than down at this point in time, ladies and gents. But again, a little bit of a lesson. We're 1 minute out from the market open. Never, ever try and pre-guess the direction of a market on European open. It's a very fast way to make mistakes. 60-minute chart. Not a great deal, guys, on the 60-minute chart, other than the 4-hour Fibonacci's are clearly working perfectly. Okay, they're the green ones. Down to the 15-minute chart, I think these guys are going to shoot down, guys. I think they're going to shoot down on open, turn around and go back the other way. Potentially. Now, we'll just wait and see what they do. Now, for those of you that are not used to what we're doing, the first 5 minutes of the trading session, we normally focus very heavily on the Europeans because they give us a compass as to what the Americans are likely to do. Guys, it looks like the buyers have stolen the stair step on the NASDAQ and the sellers just stole it back. All right, so what that means, guys, for the FDAX traders, we're looking ultimately for a sell down. It would be amazing, guys. So the leading candle's already climactic, which means the sellers are throwing a lot behind this and they're not really going anywhere. So we'll see what these guys, do. All right, so they want to buy the market early. You'll notice the immediate switch, guys, in the momentum of the candles. At the moment, I've got the buyers owning the stair step. I've got the buyers owning the stair step, which means we are looking for selling-based reversals, right? Selling-based reversals on the FDAX to start the session off. Now, again, we're coming, let me just double check. We're coming back up towards that static bar. We're coming back up towards this static bar reversal. So what it does mean is if you trade the opening candle, guys, you're looking for a short. Now, for those that wait for the first 60 or so seconds to go through, you guys are not going short just yet. Okay, let me see what these guys are up to. All right, so the buyers are quite strong, guys, to start the session off. For those that don't trade the opening candle, guys, this is clearly not your trade. Okay, if you do trade the opening candle, as you're now looking at a pre-market box reversal. Now, if you are trading the pre-market box reversal, guys, you're looking for a 225 entry, to the downside. Okay, if you do trade a pre-market box reversal. Now, if you are going to go short at 225, guys, your first target and risk control point is 220. These buyers do look really healthy at this point in time. Guys, again, it looks like we're also failing. Let me just watch here. Yeah, that short, guys, that short at 225. The short at 225 with a first target of 220. So you've just gone through your first target for the FDAX traders. Guys, now that may feed in, guys, to this static bar reversal over here on the left-hand side. So if the sellers are definitely interested in moving the market down, guys, they're going to trigger that static bar reversal over there on the left-hand side. Guys, if they trigger that, we might find the sellers decide they're going to push the market down quite happily. So we'll just watch what they're doing, guys. If you have gone short on the FDAX at 225, guys, your first target is obviously 220. We've been through that target, which is brilliant. As the flip side being for the longer range traders, you're looking for a 215. Now, I do believe we've actually gone through 215 already. As again, the FDAX is offering a second reversal at 225, again with a 220 target and 220 risk control point. Just be aware, guys, that again, if you're going to be taking that trade, guys, you please use your tight risk control point. So your risk control point is 220. Some of you only take the reversal once, guys, only take the reversal once per candle. So if you've already taken the reversal and you've gone to target, well done. That's well done, well done, well done. Now at this stage, guys, the FDAX looks like it's trying to move independent of the FESX. That normally doesn't go well for it. So let's just see what these guys have got. For those that wait for the close, if you wait for the close of the opening candle before you take a trade, you've got around about 1 or so minutes to go until that occurs. For those that don't trade, in fact, a really good point, guys, we won't be entering any trades, any new trades in the last 90 seconds of the candle. It increases our success rate significantly. Now, at this stage, guys, I'm watching the FESX and they are absolutely determined to sell the market down, not buy the market. So I would suggest the FDAX is probably going to sell down towards the end of this candle. Now, again, that doesn't mean we just push the sell button, guys. We are in the last 90 seconds, so we don't want to take a trade in the last 90 seconds. NASDAQ at this point in time, you guys look to be caught. You look to be caught between a number of pivots and the 76s. So no clear guidance yet from the NASDAQ traders as to what they would like to do. Now, for those trades that do trade off the pre-market box, guys, at this point in time, you've had one successful trade already. All right, now, if we close back inside the box, which we have not, guys, if we were to close back inside the box, then we would be looking for another trade. But because we've closed on the wrong side of the box, there's no new trade, guys. There's no new trade for the FDAX traders. Now, the flip side of that, so no new trades, guys, no new trades for the FDAX traders at this point in time. Now, again, the FDAX has set up an absolutely monstrous buy signal, guys, but the risk on the trade is a little bit too much for the majority of traders, so we're not going to be doing that. At this stage, the FESX, guys, bottom right-hand corner, looks like it wants to sell down a little bit, but I'd suggest they're not going to sell. They're probably not going to sell down very far. Now, the flip side of not selling down very far, let's just see what these guys do. Let's just see what they do. Okay. Now, I was just I did little thing, guys. I've just looked at one of my key trading charts. Please make sure. Now, I normally do this 5 minutes before the session starts. Please do make sure, guys, you've connected to the right account. So if you are copy trading, make sure your copy traders are on correctly. If you're trading in sim, make sure you've connected correctly. If you're trading live, make sure you've connected correctly. As in, we should all be in a very safe place. So for the FDAX traders, guys, we've obviously picked up one reversal, guys, off the pre-top. That's obviously gone quite well. Now waiting for these guys to decide what they would like to do.
I've got a 133 extension there, lock it.
Thank you,
259 into yesterday's data.
Perfect. Thank you. Now, guys, interesting point. If we did sell down, I was targeting this static bar reversal there. Obviously, other traders in the world are also targeting that because it's flying to the high side. Here we go. So, guys, for the NASDAQ traders, right, your deltas that are coming up on the screen here, just be aware, guys, those deltas are assuming a close over 2 pivots. So we're not going to be triggering the delta just yet, right? For those people that don't know, what that little line is on the chart, it's effectively an algorithm that tells us when to buy the market. So key with buying the market is we don't assume a close over a pivot, right? We never do that. I'm just going to add, Damsey, your Fibonacci probably looks a lot like that one.
Yeah, that's fine.
Perfect. Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. So as the reason we put the 133 on is the FDAX normally, guys, runs out of steam at the 133 extension. Now that is only for those people that are very, very good at what they do, guys, because for the majority of traders, guys, there'll be some differing opinions out there as to whether the Fibonacci is correct or not. If you do short off the 133 fib extension, the market's touched it to the tick. Guys, so your entry's at 255, your first target is 250. Now, for those that know what you're doing, guys, you've already gone through that. For the beginner traders, guys, we're waiting for this candle to close. We're looking for a loss of efficiency that we want the buyers to lose control of the market, guys, and then we're going to turn it around and send it back the other way. Young Louis, what do you got there? What's Louis? You're waiting for the buying to stop on the 50% on the NQ. Perfect. Okay, absolutely brilliant. So for the junior traders at this point in time, guys, we've got nothing. Guys, we've got nothing. We're just got to, again, I'm expecting, guys, the FDAX may chase the 50 fib on the 4-hour chart. Now that's all the way up the top of the jar. Guys, that's a long way up. Let me just double check. That's the 38, guys. The 50 fib is 50 fibs all the way up here. So if the Europeans want to buy, guys, it's going to be really impressive. Now, this buying candle here, guys, I said before, it's a monster buy candle. If you can hold the risk, guys, the deltas are tradable long. If you can hold the risk is beyond our normal risk profile, though, guys. It's not something we would normally do. So again, I'll mention that as we roll through, guys, and if the risk is too much, the risk is too much. Now, the NASDAQ, guys, looks like, and S&P certainly looks like we're about to set up a buy signal to the high side. All right. S&P 500 traders, guys, if you did get a sell down, guys, underneath that little candle there on open, you guys have gone long, guys, at 62.25. That's why that little yellow circle's there. Okay, so S&P traders. Again, I've just looked down to the left-hand corner. If you have gone long, guys, at 62.25, which is one tick outside the range of that candle, you've gone very, very, very well. Now, for the FDAX traders, that is another long candle. For the NASDAQ traders, your Fibonacci is going to have to switch the other way. Guys, that is a very, very strong, very, very strong buying candle on the NASDAQ. So if you do get a nice retracement and a nice rejection, guys, the volatility of the market says it will quite happily pay. Guys, I'm just going to check your counter Fibonacci. Worst case scenario, guys, that Fibonacci is correct. All right, so what that means is you can't buy over the top of the NASDAQ candle. All right, so I'm just saying, guys, again, for the NASDAQ traders, right, you cannot buy over the top of that candle if that Fibonacci is correct. Now, I'm going to bring this back down because we might be looking at 76 fib reversals. No, not quite yet. Okay, not quite yet. So what it means, guys, NASDAQ traders, at this point in time, I can't let you go long because you are highly likely to have a losing trade. Highly likely to have that. Louis, 15-minute is climactic. Thank you very much so. Okay. FDAX, we are clearly shorting, guys. We're clearly shorting off the 161.8 fib extension. Now, interesting
There's a
point,
15-minute fib there on DAXI too.
15-minute.
Or a 15 or a 15 or a 60, depends what you look at it. It's touched the 141 to the point.
Got it. All right, so Damsey, guys, is on fire again today. There's a lot of Fibonacci. There's a lot of Fibonacci that can go on in the market. So for the NASI traders, at this point in time, you can't go long. Okay, you can't go long. Now, interesting point, if you have, for the S&P traders, if you have gone long, guys, on my yellow circle after they sold down and then you bought, guys, inside the European Open, then that trade's gone really well. One of the problems the NASDAQ has run into, guys, is the S&P 500 has run into Fibonacci as well. Well done, mate. That's absolutely brilliant. All right, so you shorted off the 133. Fantastic. So, guys, for the NASI traders, we need to close over that red 50 Fibonacci there. We need to close over the top of that, guys, in order to take a trade to the high side. It is an ABC reversal for those that like strategy. It is an ABC reversal. We need to close over the 50 fib before we take it, which we have not done yet. The Fibonacci looks like this. So in terms of Fibonacci extension, we've got a little bit of room to the high side, but the flip side being is that we've got an issue with going long at this stage. Now, for the FDAX traders, guys, we might be looking at, again, if you're a closed candle trader, okay, closed candle trader. Now, what does that mean, ladies and gents? If you wait for the candle to close and then make a decision on its personality, guys, we are potentially looking for a double touch reversal on the FDAX. Guys, if we close under the 133 fib extension in 1 minute and 43 seconds, guys, we're looking for a short under the 133 back down to the 100. Guys, if we get a double failure reversal at the 161.8, we're looking to actually, with the buyers to push you, create a higher high fail, and we're looking for a short at 275. All right, so a couple of different options to think about as that one rolls through. Now, the flip side of the rolling through, let's have a quick look. I'm just looking at what the market is doing. Okay. If we buy, guys, if we buy much higher on the NASDAQ, we're actually getting into a really amazing sell signal. But I don't see these guys going any higher, actually. I see them going down. Okay. All right, so we'll let the guys, as we let the candle roll through, the FDAX traders, you may be picking up a ratio-based static bar reversal short as here. There is no question about that. As I would love to sell because we failed at the 141.4. I would love to sell underneath the 141, guys, or underneath the 133. Let's just watch what they do, guys, because the last 10 seconds of the candle will give us a really, really big hint as to what they're thinking. Now, this is only for those people that trade, guys, off the 161.8 Fibonacci extension. Guys, you're looking for a double touch or a higher high like that. As for the FTX traders, if you do trade off the 161.8 extension, guys, you're looking for a short at 274. Okay, so I'm just going to put an order on, guys, at 274 to show you what I'm thinking. Now, again, guys, you're going to have to use tight ATMs, guys, and tight risk control, please. All right, so if you are going short at 274, it's a 161.8 fib extension. First target's out, risk is controlled, second target is out. So, guys, if you've gone short, guys, at exactly where I suggested at 274, first target, second target is out inside 60 seconds if you have taken that trade. All right, so if you did take that trade, guys, big well done. That was quick, but that's for those that wait for the higher high, the 161.8 extension short. Guys, now that one has gone down for a 5 and 10 point target. So effectively, quick maths, $325 US. All right, so if you're in that trade, guys, if you're in that trade, you're short at 274. First target is 5, second target is 10. Your volatility, guys, is potentially showing larger targets. However, we're going to try and keep it nice and tame, guys, until we know what the market is ultimately thinking. All right, so if you got that trade, absolutely brilliant. For the NASDAQ, I can't see anything at this point in time. Another push, guys, another push into the 161.8. If you are a 161.8 extension trader, guys, you can look to enter again at 274. Same risk control point, same target, same everything. Guys, again, you need the buyers. So this is for the FTX. You need the buyers to push up, really show themselves. That's what they're doing at the moment. Guys, and then you want them to get absolutely drilled. Okay, now for those that are looking for a pivot-based trade, guys, for those looking for a pivot-based trade, we might be heading up here to the previous pivot. Guys, we could get stuck at that green Fibonacci. So if we do, guys, you're looking for a 19,300 short. So a 19,300 short. We are reversing, guys, against quite a powerful trend. So please make sure, guys, that you've got really tight risk control, just like I did then. Really tight risk control, early targets. You want literally the impulse move to take you out until we fail at the pivot and we pick up a larger reversal. Right, so quite a few of you, right, lots and lots of comments. Under 10 seconds, that was relatively fast. Matty, you're at KPI? Absolutely. I said, well done. For the FTX traders, guys, a previous pivot-based reversal here, would be absolutely divine. For NASDAQ, guys, these guys haven't woken up yet. So if you're looking at the NASDAQ, very frustrated about what they're doing, they're basically trying to determine, are we going to buy the market up? Are we going to sell it down? What they're doing is they're watching the Europeans going, well, hang on, you guys are buying. We can't buy into our brick walls. What do you want us to do? Because typically these guys will stall. It ends up with producing a 15-minute or a 30-minute chart static bar reversal. And then they absolutely tumble to the downside. Okay, now for the DAX traders, you guys have got a pretty easy day at this stage. So please, guys, make sure you hold the tight risk control on. We're looking for the candle, this current buying candle, to push up, guys, and fail at the previous pivot. We don't want to enter the trade in the last 90 seconds. Right? We don't want to enter the trade in the last 90 seconds. If you are over your daily goal, guys, do not let me romance you into taking another trade, please. Okay, so really important. If you're over KPI, you're over KPI. If we get a selling delta, guys, on this candle, on the current candle, I would wait for the new candle in order to trade that delta. Okay, so again, we may be setting up a sell signal. Guys, on the FTX, there could be a selling delta, probably around about the 285 mark. I've got nothing on the other markets yet, guys, but the buyers are sneaking in. So let's just see what these guys can do for us. Now, I'm going to get a sell, guys. I'm going to get a sell ready in the background. I'm going to get a sell ready in the background because it looks like we might be looking at a previous pivot reversal. So the FTX, so just be really careful here. We're not going to enter in the last 90 seconds in case they close over the previous pivot. Guys, if so, there is no previous pivot reversal. Okay, at this stage, there will be no previous pivot reversal. Right? So that's, wow. Okay, the buyers are really in control. Now, that is a valid buy signal, guys, on the FDAX. If you can buy over the top of this candle, guys, on the FDAX, the delta at 315 is valid. The risk is pretty crazy, guys, pretty crazy. Therefore, you're going to have to be careful. Now, the delta on NASDAQ, guys, the delta on NASDAQ is also tradable. So if you are a NASDAQ trader, there's a green delta on my screen at 39.25. Guys, your risk control point is 942.50. You've just gone through your risk control point just here. Guys, I do think the NASDAQ is going to go a little bit further. I see. Let me just watch this very, very closely. FDAX, your risk is profoundly huge. So you're going to have to be really careful on the FDAX, guys. Just really careful on FDAX.
Got a daily 76 there, Lock, at 942.
942. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you. All right. So we might have a smaller gain going on here. As if we do, let me see, S&P's gap to the high side. So for the NASI traders, guys, if you've gone long on the delta for a 10 to 12 to 14 tick target or a 14 tick risk control point, it's actually gone okay. Okay, so it's actually gone through the black line. If we are setting up a reversal, no, you've got a different fib on.
On the daily, mate.
Oh, thank you. I was trying to go, hang on a sec. My chart doesn't make sense here. Let me just go and double check. Okay, the boys are correct, guys. The boys are correct. There's no question. So what does it ultimately mean? And thank you, guys. What does it ultimately mean? If you have gone long, guys, on that green delta, guys, on the NASDAQ, guys, if you've gone long at 39.25, it's gone through your risk control point. Guys, if you're going for half PVI target, so volatility is 52, your target is 25, all right? So you've gone 10, 24. You've gone 24 ticks to a 25 tick target. So NASDAQ traders, if you are long on the delta or the next delta, you're actually traveling quite nicely. I do believe the boys' Fibonacci's are correct, guys. I think these buyers are probably going to push up here towards this 133, 141.4 fib extension. This is really going to test their resolve. And we're looking for a reversal, guys, off these 76s going back the other way. Okay, that's my read. That's my read on the market. So if you have gone long on the delta on the NASDAQ, guys, so note that we couldn't take this delta because we're assuming a close over a brick wall. That delta, we're not assuming a close. So this delta here is absolutely brilliant, mathematically brilliant. Okay, FDAX is starting to move really, really quite nicely. So for the NASDAQ traders who trade deltas, right? If you trade delta, now I know I'm going to get the question, guys. The delta is a mathematical algorithm that triggers in the background that tells us when to trade. If you've gone long on the delta, guys, for a PVI-based target of 25 to 26, you've now gone 10, 20, 30, 40, almost 50 ticks to the high side. Guys, I'm actually looking for a 76 Fibonacci reversal. The backup reversal short, to agree with the boys in the background, is off that 133 short. Now, if you're going to sell, guys, off the 76s or the 133, you must use a 10-tick risk control point, please. So that means once the market has moved 10 ticks in your favor, you're going to go for long-range targets, short-range risk control, please. All right, so long-range target, short-range risk control. Now, if you are short, guys and girls, if you are short and you get anywhere near my black line, you're going to control your risk to the downside as well. FDAX, you're setting up a stunning reversal short in around about 45 seconds from now. So couple of choices here for the NASDAQ traders. If you've gone long on the deltas, okay, you've gone very, very well. If you're short under the 76s, you've gone really well. If you're short under the 133, guys, we're going to have to give that probably another 5 minutes for them to determine what they're actually doing. Okay, it looks a lot like the FDAX may be setting up a previous pivot reversal. So if you have gone long on FDAX, guys, it's gone 13 points towards a 10-point target. So you guys are out with 5s and 10s again. All right, we might be looking at a 76 fib reversal here. Let's just see what we're doing. Okay, No new trades, guys. No new trades on FDAX at this stage. For the NASDAQ traders who trade off the 76 fibs, okay, you are looking for your short as we do, guys. You're sitting 2 ticks underneath the 76 fibs. So your entry, call it 51.75, 51.75. Again, guys, really tight risk control. So if we come down to around that 141.4 extension, guys, and you're short underneath the 76s, that's around about 12 to 14 ticks, probably around 12. Guys, if they're going to reverse now, they're going to run onto huge targets, which is absolutely brilliant. Flip side being is we want to make sure we're not going to get caught on the wrong side of this. So if you're short, guys, underneath the 76s, you can see that they're playing with this 141.4 fib extension now, working out whether there's any buyers there. All right. So if I was trading, guys, the NASDAQ today with a 50-tick volatility at this point in time, whereas you can look for a 20-tick target and 12-tick risk control points. Okay, now, if we get the turn in the market, they're going to turn and run a long way, but we don't know yet, guys. We don't know if the US is going to reverse because the Europeans are continuing to buy, guys. This is sometimes a bit of a disconnect in the session because the US traders will go, oh my gosh, amazing reversal. But then Europe goes, nah, we're not interested, guys. So at the moment, we're kind of running at the beck and call of Europe, and Europe's doing nothing but buying. So our original analysis, guys, on the FDAX was absolutely brilliant. That static bar reversal long we wanted to trade. If you did get that long, guys, you're on the right side of the market, and it's gone a very, very long way. All right. Wow. I didn't think we were going to get here, guys, but the FDAX is probably going to try and get to that 4-hour 50 fib. Okay. Now, for the US-based traders, the buyers, guys, are currently quite strong on the S&P. Quite strong on the S&P. On the NASDAQ, they don't like these 76 fibs. So long story short, guys, okay, let me put a box on the screen. I'll make it really, really clear for those people that may not have done what we do before. As if you're going short underneath those 76 fibs, your entry's at the top of the box, guys, and your risk control point is at the bottom of the box. So it ultimately means that if we don't pick up the reversal point in the market, guys, your risk is going to be at 0. So you've actually got nothing to lose. Very easy to do as a futures trader. It's a little bit more complicated to do as a CFD trader. Now, in terms of the short, guys, some of you are already short on the NASDAQ. So the way I pull the market apart, guys, is a short range risk control point, long range target. Again, particularly on when the market's a little bit volatile. Again, we may, at this stage, I'm just watching the S&P. S&P buyers are very, very, very strong. Nice, very, very, very strong. So we may be about to pick up a buy signal on the S&P. Nice. Now, again, what does that ultimately mean? The S&P 500 is about to trade. It's about to trade above its 24. That's the all-time high on S&P. Louis, have you got something? Nope. Okay. So we might be, guys, the S&P 500 traders may be about to close above the 2024 all-time high. Guys, if you do that, guys, you are getting a buying candle. It's not out of context with the volatility. If we were to close above this, the S&P 500s are looking for buying opportunities. Guys, this shows why the risk control point on the NASDAQ is so tight. Now, let's just watch what they do, because if the S&P 500 closes above that green line, as if we close above that green line, the S&P 500 traders are looking for the sellers to sell in before the buyers then take control of the market. Okay, that's what we're ultimately looking for. Now, let's have a look. Now, for the Remis of the world, guys, you see this failure at the 90% Fibonacci. Some of you do like trading off the 90% Fibonacci retracement. As again, promise me if you are going to do that, guys, similar scenario, please. All right, so very, very tight risk control, long range targets. If you do pick the falling point in the market, it's going to be quite impressive. FDAX traders, that delta short at 327 is valid. All right, delta short at 327 is valid. Okay, first target you've already gone through, second target you've already gone through. So FDAX traders, you've got a ratio-based static bar reversal off a daily 61.8. That is also valid, guys. Entry for the SBR is 325. First target 320, second target 315. So that went too quick, guys, for me to execute the trade on the screen in front of you. Ratio-based SBR, delta in complement. For those that don't know, that is the selling delta we were waiting on to short the market, and it's obviously bolted. So FDAX traders, if you did get that, absolutely brilliant. Now, for the Remy is short off the 90%. So if you are short off the 90%, guys, you're looking brilliant. If you're short under the 76s, some of you will still be short under the 76s. We've got a gap down on the NASDAQ, a gap down on the S&P 500, which means the buyers are not confident on the American market at this stage, holding over the top of the all-time high. So once again, guys and girls, if you are short underneath the 76s, all right, short range risk control, long range targets, please. Okay, now, if this is the selling point, guys, this is why you go short range risk control, long range targets. Where are these guys going to sell to? Guys, if the S&P 500 gives us a 4-point turning bar short, which it's going to try and do, then this could be a long range trade for the NASDAQ traders. So please, 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 please. If you're short under the 90, guys, you go for around about a 50 tick target. Guys, a 50 tick target on the 90% Fibonacci. Guys, it's already gone 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, already 60 ticks to the downside. Guys, if you're on the lower reversal under the 76s, then you'd be looking for, it's probably the top of the MDI. So you'd want to set your profit target around about the 40.75 mark. So I see that red delta across the chart there on NASDAQ. If you're setting your target, guys, or your risk control point, your longer range risk control point about there, what you're doing is you're basically saying, please break through that delta. No one's got any risk on these trades, guys. We're slightly positive with our risk. So no one's got any risk. If we move through that delta there, guys, if we move through that delta corresponds with that 100 extension, guys, that means that the Fibonacci extension-based traders are going to lock in a chunk of profit, please. Now, I trust, guys, I trust that some of you have got this. I trust that after all that talking, FDAX traders, that moved really fast, guys. That moved really fast. That was the scenario I spoke about earlier, where we get a selling delta that locks in the previous candle and we grab it in the new candle. So if any of the FDAX traders have had a chance to go short, guys, if you did go short, you've absolutely belted your targets, and very fast again. It's very, very fast. Do I have any NASDAQ traders who are holding the short for longer range targets? 4-hour dominant candle at 11:01:44, 5974. Yes, 5974. Okay, Louis, thank you. Okay, now, FDAX traders, you guys have had a delta short, a ratio-based SBR short, and a delta short. So you guys have had 3 overlapping trades there that have all gone way beyond 5 and 10, right, which is exciting, okay, which is, well, way beyond 5 and 10. The delta's gone 5 and 9. The higher delta's gone 5 and 10, and the SBR's gone 5 and 10. So did any FDAX traders get that short after all of that? I know it was quick. As you can see, they're angry. You can see they're angry. Now, the shorts may set up again, guys. The shorts may set up again on the FDAX if the FESX closes, guys, if the FESX closes below its pre-top. So let's keep an eye on that one. Okay, keep an eye on that one. Shelton, a little bit quick. My second target never went onto the screen but got paid. That's a really good way to have it. My second target gets paid before it even appears on the screen. Okay. So for the Nazi traders, again, you guys have sold down into a previous daily level. So if you are short, guys, understanding this is our risk control box. So you've controlled your risk quickly. You've let the profit run. Again, this these sellers are losing control of the market, guys. We're losing control. So those that are going for super long range targets, you'd want to make sure you've locked in a ton of profit, please. 50 times 2 off the 76s, DT, that's a beautiful trade. Well done. For the FDAX traders, I need a higher high. Guys, I need a higher high before we target the SBR short again, guys, at 325. Now, the reason I want a higher high is I need the FESX under the pivot. At the moment, it's on top of the pivot. Some of you may have already entered the FDAX short, guys, before I said that. If you've gone short at 325, guys, your target is 320. All right, if these sellers are genuinely serious, they're going to smash that, guys. But again, for the really careful traders, I'm looking for a higher high. Nazi traders who are short, let me just, guys, I'm going to flip my fibs around. So what we've got is we've got a twins. So again, so some of you have taken a twins base reversal. Okay, which is brilliant. Okay, that's done exactly what we need to. Remy, the master, guys, the master of the 90% fib reversal. Okay, so Rem's taken a 90% fib reversal. The reason I'm saying, the reason I'm putting that on, guys, is I'm actually going to take the Fibonacci off, and we're going to determine, we can get rid of that, we can get rid of this. I'm going to determine, guys, I'm going to determine how far these sellers are going to go before they run out of steam. Now, we know that a really good target, guys, look at the FDAX. Holy moly. Wow. As if you're on that FDAX short for long range targets, this is looking really, really sexy, like really sexy. So big, well done. Look, guys, I've just picked up the gap down on the FDAX. So we've actually gapped the FDAX down, guys, which quite often negates the need for the higher high. So I could have actually sent you guys short a little bit more aggressively, again at 325. All right, so same thing. Now, for the Nazi traders, we are, for the Nazi traders, the long-range target traders, you guys would do yourselves a massive favor if your target was sitting just over the top of these 76s at 927.50, or you're going to bring your stop loss in behind the current candle, right? So you can't lose any money on the trade. Your risk to reward ratio is exponentially in your favor now. You can't lose any money, so there is no risk. And guys, we're just waiting now for, effectively, we're waiting for these guys to sort themselves out. So short off the twins, that's obviously gone quite well. Remy's gone short off the 90. That's becoming a bit of a signature trade. Nice, so well done. Absolutely brilliant. FDAX traders, this looks incredible to the downside. I wish I was short again. Oh yeah, look at this. They're really angry. Guys, this could be news. It could be news. Let me just double check. Let me just double check. I don't think it is news, or it may be unscheduled news. Oh, now no one gave me the answer, guys, before about why did the European Union call an emergency meeting last night, guys? Why did they call an emergency meeting last night? I wonder who knows. I wonder who knows the answer to that one. Remy, first target 50, second target 50, third target 50. You mean short? You were short? Diane, that's exactly why they called the emergency meeting. Exactly why they called it. Plus 30 times 10 on the S&P 500. And that is a beautiful trade. That is a beautiful trade, mate. Well done. Times 10 contracts, Louis. That's a huge trade. So well done. So the emergency meeting was called, just so you know, because the US has basically said we're not going to fund Ukraine anymore. So Germany, France, and the UK, you've got to pick up the bill for Ukraine from now on because we're not doing it anymore. And they've turned around and gone, oh my gosh, we can't pay for Ukraine. That's a ridiculous concept. So now the EU is in an emergency meeting, guys, about who's going to pick up the bill for Ukraine. That's why they're doing it. Remy, you've done 100 contracts, 100 ticks on 5 contracts. That's a huge trade. That's a huge trade. So at this stage, guys, the market is turned off the 90%. Right? It's turned off the 90%. We were keeping an eye, guys, on the left-hand side, because if the NASDAQ can't break to the high side, again, I think the sell down, guys, is fueled by the fact the S&P tried to close. That's the highest 5 minute, guys. That's the highest 5 minute chart close in the history of the S&P 500. They tried to close over the 2024 high. They tried to hold it. They gapped down, and the sellers just obliterated them for doing that. That's why. That's why. So what do we got, young Steve? Possible 60-minute ABC reversal if the sellers can maintain it. Okay, mate. Okay, perfect. So at this stage, guys, the buying campaign goes on the NASI. For those of you that are right into technical analysis, guys, the buying candle here on the NASDAQ has triggered that -3 rated static bar reversal. So a really solid reversal there. All right, so they're triggering on the 15-minute chart on the NASDAQ, the 30-minute chart on the NASDAQ. And guys, on the FDAX, no one's triggering yet. Okay, so we might, for the FDAX traders, guys, our next trade may be a previous pivot-based reversal. If they cruise gap through, guys, if they even gave us a smidgen of a higher high than the static bar reversal at 325, guys, I'm starting to look for a higher high because we're almost 45 minutes into the session. Or guys, we're going to pick up the turn of the hour trade, which is normally quite a big one. Okay, as in quite a long range target trade. The Europeans, guys, these Europeans are really angry, right? That's a really angry candle. Now that happened. It looks like in response to the S&P failing the all-time high. So those that are trading, guys, if you can take the trades I'm taking today, or you can do what I'm doing, guys, absolutely brilliant. So far we've gone okay today. There's no question about that. For those that don't know what we're doing, guys, we'll do a little bit of a Q&A in the last 15 minutes of the hour, which is not far away. FDAX, we may pick up a 4-point turning bar here. We may pick up a 4-point turning bar, guys, underneath the previous pivot. that SBR, guys, off the daily chart, off the daily blue Fibonacci, that was the trade of the day, guys, for the FX traders. That was really simple, like really mathematically brilliant trade, mathematically brilliant. In fact, for those that are, guys, for those that are available, the masterclass is on tonight, so that efficiency masterclass is on. And this is an absolute classic example, guys, with that -2 sitting underneath there. Absolutely classic example of why we love it when the buyers just completely lose the plot, which is what's just happened there. They've just completely lost it at a daily Fibonacci, which is again very, very exciting. It's very exciting. So at this stage, guys, we're waiting to see what the markets are going to do on the candle close. Can you please go over the SBR and how you pick it long or short, Mark? The SBR is a ratio-based trade. Are you coming to the masterclass tonight, Mark? Are you coming to the masterclass? If you are, that's what we're doing. We're doing efficiency and loss of efficiency trading tonight. That's actually the first of the masterclasses for November. Okay, perfect. Okay, Mark, let me nail it in there, mate, because I'll spend about 15 to 20 minutes explaining it as opposed to trying to do it in about a minute. So yeah, guys, so that masterclass is on tonight. If you're not available, it will be recorded naturally. Okay, now, Nazi. We were talking about positioning your target, guys, just over the top of these 76s. All right, so if you have done that, guys, you've basically milked that sell-off for almost every ounce of profit it's got, okay, which is really exciting. It's really, really, really exciting. So for the Nazi traders, guys, if you got the deltas on the way up, absolutely incredible. If you traded this candle as a static bar reversal, okay, brilliant. I didn't call it. If you went off the 90%, that's brilliant. If you went off the twins, that's also brilliant. If you went off the 133 extension, as much as it pushed through to the 161.8, it eventually came back through, picked up the 133 and shot it to the downside. Okay, so we're not too bad. Whereas we are cruising into the last 15 minutes of the session. So the flip side of cruising the last 15 minutes, FDAX traders, the only thing we're going to be looking for are pivot-based reversals. Now, I note with the FESX, it's caught under pivots. Guys, so if we do get a higher high on the FDAX, guys, the static bar reversal short at 325 is tradable. All right, so we just watch for a higher high, watch for the buyers to push in and fail dismally. And then we're looking for a potential short on the FDAX at 325. Again, I'm looking for the higher high, guys. I'm looking for the higher high before I take that trade. Okay, now the key point is, guys, we are in the last 15 minutes. Okay, we are in the last 15 minutes. So the flip side of taking, guys, the flip side of taking the trade is you would need to make sure the buyers push up. Guys, you need to make sure the buyers push up, which they have done. Guys, and you'd want to make sure that the sellers wrap over relatively quickly because your risk control point, guys, is 320. Okay, so the buyers have made their higher high now. So again, guys, we'll just leave the FDAX alone if you don't trade the last 15 minutes. Just watching what they're doing. 325. The risk control point is 320. All right, I'll just put that on the screen. Okay, now if you do have any questions, guys, at all about anything that we do, right, so the higher high is coming through quite nicely now, guys, but mind you, we may get to the point where the FDAX is carrying too much risk for traders to reverse. Right, so we may get to the point where we're carrying too much risk. So 510. Okay, so any questions at all? Martin, the best email address to use is info@Samurai Day Trading. The reason being is if I'm not at my desk, then someone will pick that address up for you. All right, so the best one is definitely info@Samurai. Absolutely correct. Now, I'm just keeping an eye, guys, on the Europeans. At this stage, for those that don't trade in the last 15 minutes, guys, don't let me romance you into taking a trade, please. All right, do not let me romance you into taking a trade. NASDAQ, we've got no new trades. We've got no new trades setting up at this point in time. The selling deltas that are coming in on the FDAX, guys, are a hint that the market may be trying to turn. So it may be trying to turn. Typically, it's the turn of the hour trade that normally goes a lot further, right? So it's the turn of the hour, which is not for 12 minutes from not for 12 minutes. 12 minutes from now. That's 12 minutes from now. Now, with all of that said, guys, the daily Fibonacci here is on the FDAX is clearly being honored by a number of traders. It was enough to turn the market around pretty hard. And this is why, guys, this last 15 minutes normally becomes a little bit unpredictable. That's why for the FDAX purists, guys, for those that don't know, the FDAX purists, we leave the last 15 minutes alone unless it is a pivot-based reversal. The reason being is if it is a pivot-based reversal, normally the market will honor the pivot. Honor the pivot anyway. But that's right. We'll just let these guys bop along. Now, it looks like the US markets, guys, it looks like at this point in time that the US markets are not going to challenge the S&P 500 all-time high again. So it looks like they won't be challenging the all-time high. Again, now we ultimately don't know. We ultimately don't know what they're going to do, but at this stage, they may not challenge the high. Okay, very heavy hit of sellers coming in on the American markets because they don't want to buy above the pivots. S&P, guys, the sellers are, the NASDAQ, the sellers are very impressive, like very impressive at this point in time. No question about that at all. So the Europeans, guys, the Europeans are starting to consider selling down. Now, the flip side of starting to consider selling down, guys, if you are short on that static bar reversal at 325, your first target is 320. Guys, you've already gone through your first target. Okay, no question about that. So if you are short, guys, on that static bar reversal at 325. Your first target is 320. Guys, you've gone through 320. So if you are short, guys, at 325, you've gone through 320. That's your risk control point. That's your first target. I don't think we're going to get that 325 again, guys, until the turn of the hour. Okay, so again, just be careful. Guys, again, if you don't follow the 15-minute chart rule, or sorry, the 15-minute rule, that's just reminding me to look at the 15-minute chart. We are setting up stunning shorts, guys, stunning shorts on Europe on the turn of the hour, right? So on the turn of the hour, the shorts are stunning. There is no question. There's no question about that at all. We're just going to have to wait, guys, which that 9-minute wait is a little bit annoying. Andy, you've still got one contract short. Mate, well done. Well done, well done, well done. So, guys, our masterclass tonight is on efficiency trading and loss of efficiency. That trade on FDAX is an incredible example. The trade on the NASDAQ, absolutely stunning example. And the trade on the S&P 500, guys, down the bottom here, is also this little SBR we were saying before. If we sell down inside the European Open, which we did, you're allowed to take that trade long. All of you that have been here before know how to do that. But, guys, that S&P 500 trade, oops, wrong button. That S&P 500 trade was absolutely stunning trade. Looking at another SBR, we are Cole, 100%. So guys, I look on the bigger charts. On the bigger charts, we're already in a 60-minute chart static bar reversal short on the NASDAQ. We're about to load another short on the NASDAQ. And guys, what's really exciting for the American-based traders, as if the S&P 500 goes much further down, if it goes much further down, it's actually going to trigger as a 4-hour short. Now, if we trigger the 4-hour short, the American markets could actually try and sell for up to 12 hours, which, again, don't call me a technical analysis person, guys, but that will bring it perfectly in line with the news announcement that's going to occur tomorrow morning. So at 4 a.m. Tokyo time, you've got a huge news announcement. Guys, what happens if that huge news announcement triggers the 4-hour short right when the news announcement triggers? Louis, you're on the 60-minute short already. Well, that is a beautiful trade. Now, that's on the NASDAQ. Right? You're on that -16 SBR short on the NASI or the S&P. You're on the NASI. Oh, that's tremendous. So that's, guys, that's also a classic sort of loss of a ratio, loss of efficiency-based trade. So if you want, I can run you through that in the masterclass as well. Okay, very easy to do. Now, for those who don't know about the masterclasses, because I've mentioned it a couple of times, every Thursday in November, I'm running a masterclass, guys, on how to read what we do and why we do it and how we do it. And again, that mind you, it's only for the Samurai crew. So some of you may not be with Samurai. That's okay. But I'm doing that, guys, because I'm bringing everybody up to speed for 2025. 2025 is only, as Christmas is only 56 days away, if I do the maths correctly. So Christmas is 56 days away. That means New Year's Eve is under 65 days away, guys. And then can we believe we're into 2025? Incredible stuff. Incredible stuff. Now, we know the FDAX loves to go to the 4-hour 50 fib. Guys, we know that. So there could be a price magnet to the high side. It also coincides, guys, with that Fibonacci extension that Damsey picked on before. Damsey, great to have your voice back in the live trading room. Guys, Damsey's been away for a couple of days. And yeah, it gets very lonely here. It gets very lonely. So it's lovely to get everybody's help. Makes a big difference. Now, for the FDAX traders, we're looking for a static, guys, looking for a static entry. All right. So that means the candle's going to close. We've got around about 6 minutes, guys, around about 6 minutes. I would not be surprised at all if the long range reversals, I wouldn't be surprised at all if the long range reversals will set up off the pivots. Yeah, Dave, well, that's a good point. I might have 70 people to talk to, but when I'm trying to moderate by myself, it's like, oh, is there something I can't see? So interesting, as if I was moderating by myself, I'm obviously very well assisted, but if I was moderating by myself, I would go straight on candle ratios. I'd base everything we do on ratios, and everything we've done today, which is ratio based, has worked. So again, 100% strike rate, depending on how you pull the market apart, but that is ratio-based trading. 48 days to Christmas, Diane. Christine, well done. The boys are asking me already. The boys are asking me already, you know, what are we doing for Christmas? You know, la, la, la. Are we doing Christmas in Japan? Are we doing it somewhere else? Louis, you're half out at plus 68, stop loss. Yeah, so stop loss is plus 11, so pay you or pay you. Great scenario. That's a great trade, mate. So huge, well done. Let's have a look. So larger charts, guys, as we roll over here, we've got the let me just have a quick look. We've got a very, very powerful short setting up, guys, on the FDAX. Very powerful short. It is a 30-minute chart short, and it looks like the buyers may have just given up on the FDAX, but please don't push the sell button now, guys. It's literally the Widowmaker candle. Dave. Yeah, I would be very, very careful, guys, on the NASDAQ in the last 5 minutes in particular. Okay, really, really careful, because you'll get the institutional traders positioning on the 15, 30, and 60-minute charts. They certainly do not position on the 2-minute chart, guys. I'm just putting it out there to the world. There is no point looking at a 2-minute chart. Have I mentioned that? I may have mentioned that, but anyway, we don't need, so don't look at a 2-minute chart. Some of you know what I'm talking about. What we want to do, guys, our minimum trading chart will be the 5-minute chart, because it's the minimum chart used by Macquarie Bank. All right, so we don't want to be making decisions on smaller charts. All right, well, you can make a decision on a smaller chart, but you're making a decision with a very, very small group of people. All right, you've got to be really, really careful about how big your group is. Now that's a Mark, great trade, guys. Now, great trade. I've just noticed the NASDAQ created a stair step, guys, to the downside here. So I have missed the trade, guys. There's a higher high there, and that's a stair step down. So I could have sent everybody long off those 76s. So I do apologize for the NASI traders. I've actually missed the trade because I missed the step. All right, so that is 100% my fault. Just let me check. How are you tracking? Okay. So Akito is nicely positive, guys, today. So for those that don't know, my wife is trading with me. Diane, that's what that's my silly. No, you're allowed to have a silly sense of humor. If you take trading too seriously, it becomes a little bit of a mind game. Right? So you got to be really, really careful we don't do that. Now, FDAX traders, we are looking for inside the new hour. So please, not just now, but inside the new hour, we are looking for a static entry. Or if we get the buyers push up really, really hard and the sellers come down, we're looking for potentially a 90% fib if we get a higher high. The 76 fib is the backup. We've just got to be a little bit careful. Just be a little bit careful of that blue 61.8 off the daily chart. It was a support level, a resistance level on the way up, so it's going to be a support level on the way back down. What I would prefer on the FDAX, guys, is a 4-point turning bar short, or certainly a fee cat would be absolutely brilliant. Right, so let's just watch for those. Only reset SBR earlier. That also reset. Yes, it did. Look at this. So guys, we put the circle on this candle many, many moons ago and saying if we can get in down here, we want to get in down here. And what has it done? It's sold down on the opening candle of Europe. If you did go long, it's gone straight through its targets. It's come back down. It's actually reset the same signal again. Now, guys, my fault. I missed the stair step. Guys, if I had picked up that stair step, we would have all been long. We would have had another winning trade on the NASDAQ, and we would have been even happier. Okay, even happier. All right, so FDAXs, this is why we don't, look at this. Guys, this is why we don't trade the last 15 minutes, guys, because if we were mucking around in here, we would now be in the hurt locker. It looks like the FDAX is going for the 50 fib on the 4-hour chart. Now, this is quite amazing, guys, because when we started trading today, the 50 fib was like completely out of perspective, As it turns out, they've gone exactly where they normally go, which is really exciting because it just means that the FDAX is following a normal price pattern that it typically follows. Can we reverse off the 50 fib? We'd have to be careful, that we've got agreement from the FESX. What we don't want is the FESX to close over the top of its pre-market box. Guys, it has not closed. It's actually gapped under. So for the FDAX traders, we are going to wait for these buyers to push up and get smacked a number of times. If you want to be careful, guys, on the FDAX, you can put an entry on at 359, which is 1 point underneath the current candle. Okay, 1 point underneath. NQ buyers do have the stair step, yes. Now, for the FDAX traders, if you are going to trade, guys, short at 359, okay, if you're going to trade short at 359, okay, your first target is 354. Okay, your first target is 354. Some of you may have seen the 50 fib and said, Lockie, I'm going to wait for them to push through and go short underneath that. Guys, I normally wait for them to push significantly further, and get absolutely demolished. Okay, so we're waiting for that demolish. Right, there's the demolish that has just occurred. So, guys, again, if you're short, at, I forgot the number I gave you. I know your target, guys, is down here at, I believe I sent you short. Again, I believe your target is 356. It's going to get smashed, guys. It's going to get smashed outside the range of the candle. I literally forget where I put you in. It must be Friday. So, guys, you're short for 5-point targets, please. Your volatility is dropping into the low 20s. Now, I do believe, guys, you've had 2 pushes to the high side. If we get a third push, these guys are going to get smacked. 359, target is 354. Okay, we haven't got there yet. That's the third push to the 50%. So the slightly more aggressive traders would be looking at a 365 entry short. Again, guys, if you wait for the static entry, which is waiting for the candle to close, guys, you will generally have less of a nail biting trade. Now, that being said, if you've waited for the 3 pushes to the high side and said, all right, Lockie, I'm going short at 365, guys, your short is 360. There are people that are already short though, guys, so we're not going to compound into the short. I'm looking for the sellers to move down outside the range of the current candle. All right, let me just watch. I'm just watching very, very closely. What done? Right, that's the 4th push, guys, to the high side. Let me just watch what the FESX is doing. Okay, that's the 4th push to the high side. The buyers, guys, have got no traction on the FDAX at all. So that being said, guys, I'm pretty confident that in the next 16 seconds, they're going to be hitting 354. So 11 seconds, boom, they're early. They're early. So if you are short, guys, if you're short from 5.9 to 5.4, they've literally just smacked your target and triggered your risk control. Okay, now I trust that some of you have picked up 359 down to 354. I took 4 buying pushes to the high side before the sellers had a little bit of concession. If you waited for the 3 pushes up and then you went short at 365, then obviously your target's 360 and 355. You've also wandered through those targets quite happily as well. Okay. Now, do I think it's going to reverse, guys? Yes, I think it's going to reverse. It might take a static candle at the top of the chart. It might take a static candle. NASDAQ is really angry. I don't think the Europeans are going to be able to hold up against the US traders, personally. So what have I got? Guys, at this stage, FDAX traders, if you've gone short, guys, thank you, Diane. If you've gone short at 359, guys, target's 354. It's actually gone and tagged 354, which has triggered your risk control. I would suggest they're probably going to come back down again. If we close over the green Fibonacci, the sellers will have a little bit of a struggle. If we close under like that, guys, the sellers are going to demolish the buyers. So some of you may have gone short again, guys, at 365 for 360. If you've done that, you've been paid again. So that's for those people that wait for 3 or 4 pushes through the known psychological area. They fail and you say, you know what, I'm just going to put my sell order into your stop losses and I'm going to send you back the other way. The FDAX is gapped down, guys. The FDAX is gapped down. The FESX is gapped up. Okay, so I've got no new trades on the NASDAQ, no new trades on the S&P. Is what I'm eyeing off, guys, on the NASDAQ. Okay, if we pick up a sell down, guys, and we push under that 50%, okay, we might be looking at a long signal. The long signal, guys, we need the sellers to push down underneath the 50 and the 90% there, and then we'd be looking to go long. Your volatility is 50, risk control point is 10. The FDAX, guys, is offering the 365 entry short again for 360. Now, that is if you look at a double failure reversal off the 50%. Some of you may be looking for a higher high. Guys, inside the new hour, a higher high to push up here and then come back down again. Guys, if you are, that's brilliant. Or you might be looking for 3 or 4 pushes back into the green. They fail badly, and then you go short at 365. Now, if you are short at 365, guys, your risk control point is 360. Okay, now this is starting, guys, this is starting to get a little bit temperamental. Why is it getting temperamental? Because the FESX is gapped up, the FDAX gapped down, right? So the FESX normally wins that battle. I've got no clear guidance on the US markets as to what they want to do. Some of you may have gone long, guys, over the top of that 76. If you have gone long over the 76, it's looking very good. Very, very, very good. I'm just watching what the FDAX is doing, guys. We're only 2 minutes into the candle. There's a lot of buying going into this candle, guys, on the FDAX, and they're actually quite impressive. So they're actually quite impressive. There was very, very low impact news, guys, on the turn of the hour, and it looks like the news has actually come out positive. Okay. That is 100% for the FDAX traders, a double failure reversal off the 50 fib on the 4-hour chart, which the FDAX is famous for failing at. Again, guys, we only want to reverse off that level 2 or 3 times. It's normally the third one that jinxes us. So just watch very, very closely. If we got a little bit of a buying surge, I was again absolutely hammered, then 365 for 360 is just brilliant. Dave, you got a 41 times 2 reset off the SBR long from the yellow dot over here on the left-hand side. Mate, if you've picked up that trade, that is an absolutely stunning trade. All right, so guys, what Dave has done, I'm not watching the FDAX, guys, at the moment. Dave has watched this signal that we labeled, guys, before the session actually started, waited for the sellers to cruise down and fail at Fibonacci and taken that static bar reversal long again for a 40-tick trade. That is a really good trade, man. Because that's the reason why we put the little circles on. Okay, we put these little circles on because if we can pick up this trade multiple times during the session, that's absolutely brilliant. Yeah, great, mate. Great trade. Great trade indeed. Okay, now I've had a couple of good little trades, guys, a couple of good little trades. I'd like another really juicy one, but again, I'm not going to force a trade on the market. Previous candle NQ, it closed below the 76. Would you look for a sell below the 76 on the current candle? Mark, I wouldn't. Do you mean would I sell on that orange candle below the 76? Is that the question? Cole, well done. So you've gone long for a delta. Green candle. Would I buy over the top of these 76s? I wouldn't. Now, some people basically caught them at the 76s when they're on the way down and they've gone long. It went against them by about, say, 20 ticks and turn and run back the other way. That's maybe how they've done it. Yeah, so Mark, I wouldn't have entered below the 76 because it's straight into the 50 of the day, and the 50 of the day is more powerful than those 76 fibs. Does that make sense? So yeah, I'd never ever. So the 55th of the day is a pivot, and we'd never ever want to trade into a pivot. That is, yeah, that's asking for trouble. Now, flip side of asking for trouble, the FDAX traders, again, if you're waiting for a static signal, guys, you're about to pick that up. So you could end up with a static bar reversal short here, guys, with an entry at 360. Right, so your entry would be 360. Not if they do that. All right. So FDAX at this point, you guys have gapped up over the 50%. So we're not going short at 360. NASDAQ, I need to switch your Fibonacci around. That is a valid buy signal, guys, on the NASDAQ, provided you don't have Fibonacci in the way. And that's what I'm trying to switch around now to work out. As your volatility is good on NASDAQ, your volume is good. That NASDAQ trade, guys, is only good for a 10 to 12 tick risk control point. Okay, so again, the 76 fibs there will be the issue. So again, the risk on the NASDAQ, guys, again, the risk on the NASDAQ, many of you won't be able to take the trade. The delta that young Cole has picked up, guys, these deltas coming through here, absolutely incredible. So well done, Cole. I would suggest, guys, based on the strength of the candle on the S&P, the strength of the candle on the NASDAQ, I would suggest it's going to go up relatively quickly. Guys, relatively quickly. It is going to, this candle, guys, we spoke about at the start of the day, this candle is out of context with the volatility. There's going to be a lot of people that see that candle and go, ooh, I don't like that. That's too big. Guys, but based on the gap up on the S&P, the gap up on the NASDAQ, they are probably going to go up before they go down, but the risk is very, very hard to offset that risk. Okay, very, very hard to offset the risk. FDAX, just reminding you guys, we're not going short at 360 because we're now assuming a close over the 50%. Okay, so we're not going short on the FDAX at 360. If we close back under, guys, if we close back under in 3 minutes and 8 seconds, we're looking for a short at 360. Oh, yeah, Cole, that's the problem. It's completely out of context. Okay, so have a look at the candle. It's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110. It's basically a 120 tick candle, and the volatility is 59. So it's double the normal volatility. That means there'll be a whole lot of sellers sitting over the top of that candle, basically trying to create a bull trap. Now, I think it's going to go anyway because the S&P 500 is having another crack at its all-time high. So I would suggest it's going to go up before it goes down. Again, if I was long on the NASDAQ, guys, understanding we've got 76 fibs hiding just above us here. Okay, just there. Again, I couldn't justify a 10 to 12 tick first target with 90 ticks at risk. Like, I couldn't take that trade. Some people do because they know the chance of the market going up is incredible. Flip side, I can't take it because the risk to reward, even when we start the trade, is skewed against us. It's probably going to go, and knowing what the NASDAQ does, it's going to go late in the candle. So literally in the last 30 seconds, they'll just go, ha, gotcha. And it will go boom. That's what they normally do. That's what they normally do. FDAX, I'm very, very, very glad, guys, at this point in time, we are not short at 360. We're not short. And I think, guys, as a moderator, it's important to identify winning trades, but it's also important to say, don't take this trade. And this is why, because that little FDAX, guys, is gapped over the top of the 50 fib on the 4-hour chart. That's a famous psychological area on that market. If we gap over it, then we're assuming a close over the pivot if we're going to sell short. Right? So we don't want to ever assume a close over. NASDAQ, they're going to go late in the candle. I'm almost willing to put a nice bottle of wine on it. If anybody wants to take that bet, I am in Japan, so the freight might be a little bit expensive. I would suggest they're going to burn out, guys. The buyers will burn out towards the end of the candle. The S&P 500 is sneaking, guys. They're trying to sneak back up to the 2024. That's the 2024 all-time high until they just redefine that for us. The Nasdaq is cruising, guys, into these 76s, which is going to be an added, problem for the buyers. So the S&P 500 traders, if you're a 76 fib reversal trader, you're actually picking up a fib reversal short at 970.75. Now, guys, if you are an S&P 500 trader, again, with your volatility sitting at where it is, you're looking for sort of 6 to 7 tick targets, right? 6 to 7 ticks. Now, let's see what the buyers do. They normally cruise around at the end of the candle. All right, so all they've done is they've gapped the market up at the end of the candle, guys. But again, we're not taking new trades on the NASDAQ, please. Okay, so no new trades on the NASDAQ, no new trades on the FDAX. The NASDAQ, guys, I would suggest it's worth a bottle of wine. They're going to go and touch the top of my box. Okay, so right there. They're going to touch the top of the box, and then they're going to fail at those 76s. And therefore, a number of you might be eyeing off a 76 fib reversal. Okay, there's the touch of the black line. For a 76 fib reversal, guys, I would like them to move beyond the 76s and get absolutely drilled. Right? So I want the buyers to push up and get absolutely smashed. So nothing on FDAX at this stage. I would suggest, guys, the FESX bottom right-hand corner has gapped up. Guys, it's gapped up, meaning that the institutional traders think that they can push the FESX higher. That's why the FDAX is also gapping up. So I'm very, very glad we are not short on the FDAX at 360. Otherwise, we would now be on the wrong side of the market. And so as I said, I think Sheldon, that'll do. That'll do. Not what I was thinking. Right? Not what I was thinking, but no, that anything that's red is always good. Suzanne, absolutely brilliant. We'll see you very shortly. Guys, so the masterclass does start 30 minutes after the LTR finishes. Guys, and again, that is on efficiency and loss of efficiency trading. That's our first of the month. So guys, again, many of you are ready to rock and roll for that. We are slowing down the FDAX traders. We are definitely looking for that reversal. So the DAXI traders, we need to close below the green Fibonacci, and we're looking for the short, guys, at 360. All right, that's what we're after. Now, at the moment, the buyers are not burning volume on the NASDAQ, guys. So again, we're looking for that burning of volume. My daughter, would you like to say hello, Ivy? No, you're here. Okay, quick, come on, quick. My daughter has literally just bombed our webinar. So look, they say hi, everybody. Oh, you've gone shy. You're going shy. You gonna say hello? No. So, guys, this is Ivy. Say hi. Konnichiwa. Oh, that was a good konnichiwa. So this is my princess. Right. Now that FDAX trade is setting up. Bobby, can I daddy finish? Is that okay? Oh, you want daddy? All right, there's going to be a bit of noise, guys. I'm going to have to hand her over, and she doesn't like that. Hold on. All right, off she goes. Off she goes. All right. Sorry. What she done is she's actually put a stool up. So what she does is she goes to the kitchen, grabs the stool, puts it next to the baby gate, climbs over the baby gate, and then sneaks up the stairs, and then comes into the office. She actually literally walks like a cat, so no one knows she's there. And then she just literally pops in because she knows I'm doing this. She also knows that that she's not meant to be here. All right, so 90 seconds to go on the candle. Paolo, I hope that the session has been clear enough. I hope you've had a winning trade. I hope you've seen what we do. Now, FDAX traders, you're looking for a short at 360. Okay, so these sellers are coming in really, really, really well. Now, the short can't go on, guys, for 1 minute and 2 seconds. So you guys are going to have to be really patient on that one. We're looking for, so the next 55 seconds, FDAX, please do not plummet without us. Please do not plummet. These sellers are really strong, guys, but you cannot put that order on until the candle closes, guys, because sometimes what happens is the sellers will stick their toes in the water, find out where the buyers are sitting, and then they get sucked back up over the top of that 50%, right? So see this just here? So this is why, guys, this is why we must wait for the close of the candle, because that's when the bigger boys and girls are making their decision. So they don't make the decision in the middle of the candle. They make it once the candle closes. That's why we are not 1 minute traders or 2 minute traders or 3 minute traders. We're 5 minute traders. As the 1 minute chart traders would be making decisions at the moment, which are completely premature. They literally have no idea what the market's doing. And I'm very, very, very glad we are not short at 360. Okay, otherwise, we would now be literally on the wrong side of the market, which is how you can get in lots of trouble, guys. So the lesson for today, for everybody, the lesson for today, never, ever, 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 ever assume a close over a pivot. Okay, now, the 90% Fibonacci traders, okay, so the snipers that are out there in the world, if you've seen this failure at the 90%, I strongly recommend a tight risk control point. So tight risk control, long range targets. Now, the S&P 500, guys, is now closed above its all-time high, and it's also gapped up to the high side, which means the buyers are more likely to push the NASDAQ up, guys, than the sellers are to push it down. Right? Hence, if you do want to reverse off that 90%, guys, again, a 10-tick risk control point. Again, you can go 10-tick first target, neutralize your risk on everything. If it runs, it runs. If it doesn't matter. I'm just watching the S&P 500. If we get pushed back under, if we get pushed back under the 2024 all-time high that was the all-time high when we started the session, if we get pushed back underneath that, the NASDAQ reversal is going to go on for really long-range targets. Okay, now FDAX, guys, maybe the FDAX may be coming in, or the Europeans may be agreeing with that. Okay, so let's just see again for the DAX traders. We're waiting for a 360, so 360 entry short. We need to close under the green. We're going to wait for the close of the candle. I sound like the fun police, don't I? But we've literally got to wait for that. we've got to wait for them to play the game. Now, NASDAQ, guys, there might be other Fibonacci's going on here on the NASDAQ as well. So here's our NASDAQ 30-minute chart. And I've got bigger 76s in there. Okay, so bigger 76s in there. So the bigger ones will generally win, guys, generally win over the smaller ones because more people will be using them. Again, guys, long story short, though, if you're going short under that 90%, all right, you've waited for them to push through. They've come up. They've created a higher high. If you have gone short, guys, you've got a 10-tick first target and then a really, really long-range second target. And you're making sure, guys, your risk to reward is in your favor. Okay, so that's what we're just doing the same thing as we did yesterday. Obviously, today is a lot less volatile, which is good. Okay, so ironically, guys, efficiency wins the day again today. Efficiency followed by loss of efficiency. Now, let me just grab some more tea. The short on the FDAX is looking amazing in 1 minute and 50 seconds. I think it's going to be fast, guys. I think it's going to be fast. Okay, now, again, no silly business, please. We must wait for these guys to close under this 4 hour. Okay, must wait for that to occur. Nazi traders, if you've gone short under the 90%, all right, so this is for the Remis of the world. If you've gone short under the 90%, guys, again, see what they're doing. Guys, so you've gone short under the 90%. They've gone through your first target. They've started to run. Your risk is controlled so you can't lose any money. And then they spike back at you again, which is the very reason, guys, tight risk control. And if it runs, it runs. If it doesn't, it ultimately doesn't matter. If you want a cheeky first target, then a long-range second target, that's awesome. Okay, FDAX traders. We are setting up an absolutely beautiful signal. Now, how it's going to roll on FDAX, guys, we've got to close under the green line. All right, if this is a big red candle, we've got to wait for the retrace back to 360, guys, in order to get the 360 entry. All right, so I'm going to have to show you how to do that. 1, 2, 3. Well inside the risk profile. Well inside the risk profile. Yeah, we're setting up to short everywhere. Right? So we're literally setting up to short everywhere. Look, guys, S&P may, for the NASDAQ traders, let me get rid of that comment. The S&P may close underneath the all-time high. Guys, if it closes under the all-time high and doesn't gap back over it, then there's short setting up everywhere. Right? So for FDAX, guys, I'm just going to put a sell order all the way down the bottom of the screen so it's well out of the way. I need the buyers to move above my entry point of 360. Right? So I'm going to have to be really cheeky on how this occurs. Hello, Alan. I can see you there. Alan, we're waiting for the buyer. Come on, buyers. This is, come on. No. Don't you run without us, you silly little. Okay. I'm being a stickler. Guys, the backup trade. Okay, I can't move my order around. The backup trade is this static bar reversal here, guys, or that static bar reversal there. Now, they are valid backup trades. So, guys, if you are short on the FDAX as the backup trade of 353, guys, your target is 48. If you did pick up any of the higher ones, guys, you're going really, really well. Guys, I've missed my entry on the trade. So that's okay. I don't mind that, guys, because I'm here for you. So if you've gone short at 353, guys, on the static bar reversal over here with the -11 rating on it, okay, if you've gone short underneath that candle, guys, at 352, your target is 47, and you're starting to move through your target already. In fact, that is, it's just a very strong candle, guys and girls. It's actually not a 4-point turning bar. It's a very, very strong candle. Okay. Now, in summary, guys, if anybody's gone short under the 90% off the NASDAQ, you guys have gone through your targets. There's no question about that. If you've gone short underneath the 76s, guys, you have gone through your risk control point and first target as well. Mark, you got +20 off the twins. That's a great trade. And FDAX traders, if you could take any of the SBR shorts, guys, you've gone through your target now. And this is the static turn of the hour trade, guys, that we were looking for the whole time. All right, young Arlen, we've done okay today. It looks like we've had a really good run again. So we've got some good trades, and we've also dodged a couple of bullets. The bullets are always important to dodge. So guys and girls, are there any questions at all about anything that we've done today? Any questions at all? And Alan, it's all over to you, because we're not going to get any more trades. There's no question at all. So,
well, first of all, thank you so much. I'm really happy to see you guys having fun, communicating, trading. I know it's been intense today. We have been expecting this. Obviously, US elections, can't believe this is behind us, but I feel like this is just the beginning. Okay. So, guys, be careful in the markets. Listen to what Lachlan says. You really need to kind of be very meticulous, right? You really need to pay attention to the small
100%.
details.
Yep.
I wanted to say, guys, if someone didn't hear yet, guys, we have Ninja Trader available for Prime Futures challenges. I know before we used to say, guys, we have something coming up, but that's it. We're here saying this very loud. Guys, keep an eye out on any interesting upcoming things as well. We are planning very interesting things for everyone at the same time. But for now, enjoy with Ninja Trader integration. Lachlan, thank you so much for today's session.
Well, guys, as I always say to TTP, thank you for having us. Very much appreciated. Guys, looks like we had a clean run again today, so we'll just keep doing that. And again, don't be shy. Guys, if you've got any questions, please reach out to Arlen, and we'll see everybody in the TTP crew. We'll see everybody next Thursday, ready to rock and roll. How about that?
Yeah, rock and roll, guys, rock and roll. Thank you so much, Lachlan.
Thanks, everybody. See you shortly, guys. Bye.